devil in a red dress. Call 911, I'm a killer. You know I hate to confess. Bang, bang, got my hand on the trigger. The devil in a red dress. Call 911, I'm a killer. You know I hate to confess. Bang, bang, got my hand, bang, got my hand. Call
What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Hold up. Yo, whoa. Hello. There we go. Boom, boom, boom. All right, can y'all hear me? Let me know. What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Thank you so much for tuning into... Why can I barely hear myself? Hold up. Ah, I know what's going on. All praise. My bad, y'all. Can you believe that? Boop. Yo. All right, my apologies, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for taking the time to tune in to DLD After Dark. Man, we call 911. It's still a great song. I just every now and then I gotta play it, you know. Man, we got kind of a crazy situation a couple days ago when this actually occurred. This occurred on the first was when I first heard about it. Honestly, I wanted to go live like right then on, I guess that was Sunday, right? Yeah, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. Yeah. So on Sunday, I wanted to go live and have a conversation about it because, you know, a lot of times, like whatever each individual's like political beliefs are about, like, you know, this country fighting this country and this country fighting this country, and like I don't think that whatever all of that aside, because let's be honest, conflict is just a business for certain individuals. And with that just totally pushed aside, we can have that conversation another time, which a lot of times we do. Um, with that pushed aside, just looking at warfare, studying warfare, and looking at certain things, man, it's just crazy. Like again, regardless of what your individual like personal beliefs are about, like, Ukraine and Russia and Israel and whatever. All right, I'm just saying there are certain things that we should look at and study just for the for understanding wargaming, sabotaging, demoralizing, and when little guerrilla fighters that have much less and that are funded to a much lesser level in some cases. I'm not saying that this is the case, but seeing them sabotage, demoralize, and break down infrastructure like that, man, that's a crazy thing. So we're gonna look over this crazy event that was just reported on the first. I think it may have actually happened on the first, but either way, around that time, this crazy event occurred called Operation Spiderweb. I believe it was Spiderweb, Spider's Web, something like that. Operation Web. Who cares? It was this crazy event where these drones were stowed away in previously fabricated by Ukraine um, storage containers that were delivered via truck. They opened them remotely and sent drones that were carbon fiber or what's it called, the wire. I'm gonna have somebody else come in that actually knows more about this, and we're actually gonna watch someone else's video because man, the pictures, the video, the like in-flight footage it's crazy. um fiber optic drones, so they can't be stopped by like there's a bunch of different things that they use to take down drones or reverse them or send them back to home. They can auto home them basically, or anything, because they've been changing the frequencies that they typically operate on so they don't get just dropped out of the sky by whatever like frequency they're putting off. Russia ended up moving their drone frequencies to like 700 to 1,000. So it had to whatever. So they're like working against these like little things that they can do to safeguard like their equipment, their infrastructure, their supply line, and all that. Well, this plan was crazy. I don't know how long it took for them to like drum this whole thing up, but they took all these shipping containers. They built a fake like kind of like you do a false bottom on like a drawer, something like that. They built a false ceiling on top of the shipping containers and then had them go out on trucks. There were at least 6 to 8. I'll pull up the pictures so we can see. We'll actually get to see the in-flight footage too, which is kind of crazy. And then each one, I think there may have been 6, but each one in the false ceiling had like uh, remote accessible, remote operated pre-cut like hydraulics in the pre-cut. The ceiling, the roofs were pre-cut, and they had hydraulics in them, so when they remotely opened them, the tops of the shipping containers came up and opened, and they had 6 rows of 4 drones in each of the shipping containers, and they all flew out and started crashing into, obviously they all had HE on them, high explosives. And they sent them out and started destroying aircraft bombers. And this is taking like a huge chunk out of one of Russia's like part their a third of their nuclear triad basically, which is kind of crazy. So we're gonna get into that. We're actually gonna have a conversation. I mean, it's pretty it's a deep plan. It's kind of crazy. Hey, bro, dude, thank you so much, man. Yo, my boy, Kurt 24, the producer of the show, just shot me a Cash App. Just for let's see what it says. No, you're good, bro. He said I can't. Yo, you just being here, even just for a little bit, man. I already saw you dropping links and stuff, man. I appreciate you so much, Kurt. You did not need to do that, but I'm super grateful. And honestly, I'm grateful for every single one of y'all. I don't know how I ended up being super blessed with an incredible like community of such super based awesome dudes that are crazy supportive, but I'm super grateful for y'all. So I appreciate you. Um, hold on, let me see. Um, so let's go ahead and start. Let's do the intro and then we'll go ahead and start getting into the conversation. It's pretty crazy. I think you guys are going to get a lot of value out of studying stuff like this. So let's go ahead and jump into it. Let me make sure I sent the link out. Okay, perfect. Okay, Kurt, thank you again, brother. So before we get into the topic of the night, if you guys are channel members, do me a favor, shout out in chat. Go ahead and sound off. We'll go through and greet all of our channel members because literally nearly 90% of the support on this channel comes directly from the channel members, and we also know that this particular platform doesn't usually push this content out to new people. So if you are new, also sound off in chat and just come in, chill, hang out, have a nice chat with these folks over here. If you're watching on mobile, it'll be these peeps below you. And just come in, hang out. And if you believe that you get any value from the show tonight, or even if it's just fun and you have great conversations with super bass dudes, then I'm talking about the dudes in chat, not me. That'd be weird. Anyway, then hopefully I would earn your subscribing. So that'd be awesome. Also, make sure that you guys, if you could, do me a favor and hit that thumbs up button because that tells the YouTube that you like the content and we're doing a great job. So let's go ahead and get into it. If you're watching this the next day or the next day or the next day, then do me a favor and drop a comment. Drop the old Replay Mafia, Recapitulation Syndication, Dark Coffee, Refried Beans, Reheating the Leftovers, all the great stuff that you guys always drop in the comments. I appreciate that so much, more than you know. If you could do that, it'd be awesome because the comments also show YouTube that you like what you see. So let's go ahead and jump into it, man. Crazy times. So let's do the intro. We'll greet all of our channel members and channel members sound off, and then we'll go ahead and jump into the topic. So, of course, though, First in chat, my brother Kurt 24, the producer of the show, who already sent a Cash App. Again, I have no idea how I ended up so super blessed to get incredible folks like you guys. Man, the support is crazy. I don't deserve it, and I'm super grateful. Ah, you know. But thank you, Kurt 24. Let's do what do you think? One crisp high five. You're kind of more of a fist bump guy, right? Let's do a fist bump. Appreciate you, brother. Thank you so much. And let's go through and greet all of our channel members, and then we'll get started. We'll bring our guest on. So obviously, Kurt 24, not only is he the producer of the show, and everybody know, but also he's a channel member and he's a moderator. So watch what you say around him. He could snatch you right out of the live stream. I'm just kidding. We don't do that here. Mike McClune, the Goon, brother, great to see you. Also a channel member, appreciate you, brother, and a moderator, and he has the same powers of Kurt 24, the producer of the show. Blue Curtain Burner, brother, great to see you. Also a channel member, appreciate you, brother. Eric Stockbridge, my guy, great to see you. Also a channel member. Let's see, Kurt, Mike McClune, the Goon. Hey, Fat Rooster, brother, great to see you. Very soon I'll be able to take you up on that offer finally. Just kind of running some things through them things just to make sure they're good to go. Then once I know they're good to go, then I'm gonna send them out. So I'm pumped. That's probably one of the things I am most excited about for the future, aside from the stuff that I'm going to be testing. And actually, guys, y'all are going to be impressed. I'm currently working on two longer form hard video uploads that you guys can expect. So yeah, big moves. Let's see, Zanti Misfit, brother, great to see you. Also a channel member, and these folks that elect to be channel members do so on their own. Man, you guys, honestly, like, no joke when I say almost 90% of the support every month is from the channel members. It is you guys. You guys help keep the lights on, man, for real. And I appreciate you guys so much because anything that's contributed also goes directly into DLD hardware and also definition knives. So that's a huge help. So I appreciate you guys. For those out there that don't know me, the channel, the companies, I'm Dark with DLD After Dark. We do a live show every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday, usually around 10:30 Eastern. The channel's really focused on freedom, liberty, independence, firearms, gear, equipment, just guns, and just um, kind of like the crazy life of just a middle-aged dude in 2025 and staying strapped, not getting clapped, and keeping up on your training, taking care of yourself, being a man of God, and keeping that sword on you. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, aside from that, we also talk about a lot of equipment, gear, things like that. But also, I think some of the most important stuff, one of the most important aspects is that we've really kind of built a community, and all of us kind of come together, support each other, and, in just really kind of by being here and talking to each other, right? This is kind of like my therapy, I guess. Not technically, right? I don't need therapy if I'm still being watched for doing that Epstein video, the Epstein list, the flight logs. I don't need therapy. Anyway, sorry, bad joke. Yeah, so check us out. I know that was a great sales pitch of the channel, right? But anyway, if you're looking for ways to support the channel, then you can do so by if you build guns, then go to dldhardware.com. Not only are there things like jigs, parts, tools, all sorts of stuff, but also all the merch. So you'll see pro limited government merch on there. And then also, if you love super dope cutlery, then check out, oh, there we go, the DK1, baby. Check out definitionknives.com. If you have a young daughter, then you know about that. I do have something else super dope that I actually catted up myself that I'm going to show you guys tonight. Honestly, y'all aren't going to believe it. It's actually, I think, the most impressive thing that I've done so far. Anyway, aside from the DK thing, that's pretty dope too. But definitionknives.com, we got a bunch of great knives, and honestly, all of them are under $100 currently. All of them are $59 to $79. They're really good, high quality blades, and yeah, just check them out if you want to support the channel. Let's see. Eric Stockbridge, Mike McClune, the Goon, Kurt 24, the producer of the show, 717 Rider, brother. Great to see you, man. Appreciate you coming in and hanging out as well. Stifler Manufacturing, bro. I saw that M81 slide. Yo, that thing is gorgeous. Absolutely stunning, stunningly beautiful. Very good work on that. Did you personally, did you do the Cerakote on that? Because I'll be real, I am impressed. I'm a man of many rattle cans, but I was impressed with that. And if you guys don't know, Stifler Manufacturing is a Glock slide aficionado. So Stifler Manufacturing does Glock slides. Man, if you haven't checked out Stifler Manufacturing, you need to check them out. The slides that they're doing, that they're manufacturing, their machining, their Cerakoting, it's nuts. And for the price, they're super duper affordable. A bunch of folks in the community do that, right? So we don't want to step on toes, but we can all support each other. So you can use code DARK at Stifler Manufacturing and save some coins, some shekels that way. Also, companies like Marconi, who kind of has like a Radian-like slide and barrel setup with a big old chunk port, and then also companies like JSD, Patmos. So there's room for everyone. Also, we love Gideon, we love Goonbeam, we love all the homies, and if you want some of the most powerful flashlights in the world, go check them out. So that's it. We're not doing the whole QVC episode. We're just doing the things. Let's see. Mike McClune, Kurt 24, the producer of the show, Fluffy Bunny Arsenal, my guy. Great to see you, man. Can't wait to see you in August. Yeah, August. That's going to be super dope. Frederick Donegan of the Red Dawn Readiness channel, brother. Great to see you, man. Appreciate you coming in and hanging out as well. Let's see. Mike McClune, Fluffy Bunny Arsenal. 5x5. Thank you. That's how far behind I am. Just so you know. And speak of the devil, Operation Sumo Dark. I know. Isn't it crazy? You can play with it when you're bored. I know, and it's funny because when I stand right here, it looks like it's the optic on that AR, but it's totally look at that. Look at that. Yo, it's getting out of control, bro. Like it's long. I don't want to cut it. Ninja man bun man. I know I don't who is me? I don't want to cut it, right? Because like it's crazy. It's super super long hair, dog. Like and I don't want to cut it because it's kind of like remember when my beard was like huge, right? I didn't want to cut it, but I started to get annoyed by it. I'm kind of at that point with my hair. I'll probably go back to the short hair with the nice little shape up and like the crisp like lines and all that eventually, but I'm not tripping off that right now. Fluffy Bunny, Kurt 24, Fat Rooster, Eric Stockbridge, Frederick Donegan, Stifler Manufacturing, 713. Hey, watching dark is just what I need after a long day. Who knew college visits would be so exhausting? Yeet, man. Uh, Woof. Yeah, I could imagine that. Yo, okay, so that's another thing, man. They definitely, and they're like, we don't know if it's connected. You don't know if two uh train rails in two different places that both had bridges over it that shut down the train rail and the bridge in two different places was connected. You're tripping. Yes, they're 100% connected. Bro, if you can sabotage the way that they send stuff to each other, you diminish their supply line, you crush them, you crush them. I'm just kidding. And look, I don't have a dog in the fight either way. I love listening to, watching, reading, studying, just wargaming, right? Like this, y'all see it when we go through it. I'm gonna show someone else's video. Dun, dun, dun. I know on YouTube it's like the biggest sin to. I mean, I don't get it, dude. I always get a copyright strike. That's why I did not monetize the stream this evening, so you should not be getting any ads or anything. They'll probably still put ads on it because that's how they do. They're like, you don't want to make money off of it? We'll make money off of it because they wouldn't have monetized it anyway. But so I didn't monetize it tonight because I didn't want to have to deal with the copyright strike stuff. So yeah, so I mean, it's not like monetization doesn't have anything to do with actually making money. I mean, yes, there is some money that comes from it, but the reality, monetization is when YouTube makes money off of it, they push it out to many, many, many more people. They actually send more notifications, and that's probably why we have under 40 people in here right now, which is crazy for a Tuesday night. CIA, CIA. See, Fat Rooster 717, Xanter Misfit, Mike McClooney, the Goonie, Xanty Misfit, Kurt 24, Z, great to see you. DLD After Dark. Keep in mind, both sides already have nukes sitting on the other side's soil, waiting for a command. Yeah, we're literally right around the corner from losing all electricity, Wi-Fi, air conditioning, and humanity. So just so y'all know that, get ready. And look, I'm gonna be real. If you guys aren't ready now, we'll never each be all the way ready. Like, all right, I'm 100% ready. Like, like hit the fire button, right? Like, we're never gonna be there. But if you've not been consistently getting ready over the last at least few years, if not, 20, yeah, you're in for some hurting. So excuse me, get ready. And if you stay ready, you ain't gotta get ready. Johnny Ba, great to see you, brother. Also a Chenamemba. Johnny Ba's a Chenamemba. Great to see you, my guy. Appreciate you. Zanty Misfit, come on, PLA, brother. Great to see you, man. I just not only do I love seeing you here, I also love saying your name. It's quite possibly one of the most creative names in all of username history. I also, out of PLA, I made this. And just so you know, come on, PLA, I've been catting. You better put that down, son. I have been catting, and I catted the let's see, I don't know which one I have. The DKs. Rich fixed that one, but look at this, man. Here, let me set this here. Hold on. So I catted this all by myself. It's a cross. It's got the blood colored filament on it with a black background. Got the little keychain thingamajiggy in here. And look, y'all ready for this? All things through him. That's from Philippians. Um, man, it's so cool to have something like this, and to make it yourself and to actually have it like work, dog, up dog. It's not really. There you go. Dude, when the sunlight hits it, it's like a rare steak. It's actually really, really gorgeous. It's also like, I made this one a little bit stronger, did some ironing, so it actually looks like super pretty. So we'll do some cool stuff like that. And I don't know, maybe I'll throw them up on the website too, just for the heck of it. Okay, Zanti, Kurt 24. Johnny Ba, come out in PLA, Kurt 24, Fat Rooster, oh my goodness, I was so super behind. Come out in PLA, Agorizer, dang old Matt Z, great to see you guys. Zanti, DK, out of this world. Appreciate you, man. Thank you. And the folks that have ordered knives, some actually, their knives en route right now. Seems like USPS is moving crazy slow. In addition to me being, a little behind myself. Yeah, Rooster's got some knives. A bunch of you guys got some knives. Vulcan Rumble, Agorizer. Let's see. Dang. Okay, Posh Weevil. Welcome. I don't think I've seen you here before. Said ball joint failed on my Toyota Sequoia today. I am blessed that I was only going 10 miles an hour. Tell your loved ones that you love them. Woof. Do y'all hear that? Helicopter. Right over my house. Sorry. I get distracted easily. Man, Posh, I am pleased to hear that you're okay. And I encourage you to, everyone, get right with your family, get right with God, have a very, very close and strong relationship with Jesus, because you never know. There was actually a song by Trick Daddy. The entire hook was you never know, know that. Like the only thing that you know is that you never know, right? Um anyway, yeah, God bless you, bro. CCAR 24, FGM Fat Rooster Live Life, come on, PLA. Flying Rich Firearms, great to see you. Flying Rich, Chanamemba, great to see you. Fluffy Bunny, Chanamemba. Hey, Safety Haba, great to see you. Member for 34 months. What is new with Florida Carry? I didn't get to read through the whole thing, but thank you for your member chat. Maybe we'll see if we can touch on that tonight. Choppers, cover Remington. All right, let's go ahead and jump into it. So we actually have an aerial specialist, someone who has been making content for a very long time in the aviation community. It's actually somebody that knows some of our close friends. You may have seen him on YouTube doing live streams every now and then. He has a beautiful background. People like to refer to him as Rich Scout Survival.
I gotta hide stuff.
Please don't. That's Black Scout's background, right?
Yeah.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, of course it's Flying Rich, because we're talking about stuff that flies. Are you surprised? Come on. Rich, for the people that are here now and will be here later, that may not know who you are, for the people
That one person.
yeah,
Posh people.
they're literally gonna be like, "Hey, Drewski, good to see you, brother."
In Posh Weevil, ball joint failures only happen at low speed, so nothing to worry about. That's when the forces are highest, when you're braking or accelerating. Probably you're braking or turning when that happened.
Excellent point, Rich. Thank you.
Ask me how I know.
Yeah, for real. Didn't Joe have like the same thing happen?
No, he had the car fall apart.
Oh,
That was
okay.
Christmas Day when he was leaving dinner, and he was like 2.5 hours on his way home from the 3-hour drive. And I actually looked at his car, and I'm like, oh, it's kind of lowrider in the back. What's going on with that? And I'm like, oh, well, when it was at my house.
Am I crazy, or is Rich's mic like so hot it's like hurting my ears? Is that it's not your fault.
Is that better?
Well, I also just turned it down, so it is better.
Oh, okay.
But um, I don't know if it's me in my settings or maybe it's not.
And FGM says Flying Rich, not familiar.
I'm not familiar. Don't remind me. That was a traumatic incident. Okay, I've only been back to Trader Joe's twice since then. So I would thank you interrupting, Rich. So what I was gonna do was come on. So I was thinking I wanted to really. I'm just kidding. Rich, if you will take a moment, let everyone know who you are, what you do, and where they can find you.
Yeah. Well, you can find me flyingrich.com. That's links to all my social media right there. And I guess he's taking a hit on the vape while we're doing this. So also, I am notable because I
Not
am
me.
the main plaintiff in the Florida open carry case, which a motion for summary judgment was filed. And actually, I sent you all the paperwork, Dark.
Yeah, I did see it. I actually started to review it, and then my
Oh,
brain
gosh.
started to melt. And
Yeah,
then,
it's
yeah,
good couple dozen pages of all legalese. So yeah, not me. I don't want to say me. I don't want to pimp myself too much. GOA is the ones doing all the heavy lifting. So both, in case you don't know, Dark Crump and I are also plaintiffs through the GOA against the ATF for engaged in the business of rule.
yeah. So what that means is like if you may recognize him from, I'm going to use your audio in my short. Yes, I love that. Yeah, what he's saying is that the ATF came out with this crazy overreaching rule, or it was it wasn't made into a rule yet, but it was a proposed rule saying that if anyone were to buy a gun and do things like keep the original packaging, sell or offer to sell at the same rate or more to profit from, basically even offering to sell a gun, even if someone texts you and said, hey, would you consider selling me one of your 40 Glocks? And I was like, yeah, I'll think about it. That in itself, based on the proposed rule that they put out, was enough to get someone in trouble for engaging in the business of without the proper licensing. So we said screw that, and got with the GOA, and yeah, the rest is history. And now we're suing
unlike
the
other
ATF.
YouTubers that wouldn't put their name on a friend of the court brief.
Yeah, they wouldn't write their name on the amicus brief. And actually, let me just say this, okay? Prior to that point, like my name was 100% private, not out there at all. No one knew anything about me. And it was like, okay, if you're saying you're willing to pick up a rifle for the cause, then you should be willing to pick up a pen for the cause. So I was like, you know what? You're right. Let's do it. Put it out there. Put my channel name, my government name. I'm down. I'll sign the amicus brief for, in the name of freedom, independence, and liberty. And there's some other people out there that are like, well, I don't want to make enemies with the United States government. So yeah, they chose not to sign an amicus brief of a friend that's contributed to them in their lives and their channels. But hey, we can't all be wieners. Sorry, Rich, please continue.
Yeah. So I 3D print guns. I build guns, 3D print guns.
Do you fly planes and fly drones?
Fly planes and fly drones, and yeah.
Do you do CrossFit?
I at one time, yes, but no.
Did you go around telling everyone that you did CrossFit?
No, because I had a life other than CrossFit, so I had no need.
It's like it's kind of the joke about being a pilot, right? Like, how do you know if someone's a pilot? It's like, don't worry, they'll tell you. Yeah. Same thing for like, how do you know if someone's a vegan? Don't worry, they'll tell you. How do you know if someone does CrossFit? Don't worry. They'll
worry.
tell you.
They'll tell you.
How do you know if someone shoots guns? They probably won't tell you. That's just, which honestly should be, we should change the culture around that for real.
I'm trying to think. Was it yeah, it was one of those SAR bags that you get at SHOT Show, and my daughter needed a bag to go to take on the plane with her. I'm like, oh, hey, take this. And I'm like, it said SAR, but nobody's going to know what that is. But like, there was a gun on it, like a gun.
It's like, like a silhouette of a gun, kind of. I know what you're talking about.
She's like, I can't bring that to New York. And I'm like,
good point, dude. My daughter brings like those like knitted like the the reusable Spyderco bags all the time, and people just have no idea what it is. But I'm sure some people saw it like, oh, don't know how your daddy got that one. Anyway, but yeah, check out Flying Rich. Check out flyingrich.com, which has all of his social media, Flying Rich Firearms, Flying Rich, and also one of his other channels that's been blowing up a lot is his music channel, which is just Fly Rich, all one word. Turns out that he's a black country singer. So
where I transitioned to a gay black country singer.
Yeah, it's been great. Actually, if you don't know, I saw a CrossFit gym once. Tuck, great to see you, bro. Red Donegan. LOL, that's why that short I made said it. It said, I've been in job interviews where they ask, so what do you do for fun? Dry fire, gun training, studying guns, prepping, awkward. I saw that one when you sent me that screenshot of a text with someone else to share news, not to gossip or anything. You were sharing news. It was a meme of a very attractive professional woman interviewing a man, and she says, so I have 3 openings, and the guy says, I know.
Wait. Did I ever tell you on a job interview? They said, well, where do you see yourself in 5 years? I said, doing your wife.
I was going to say, you said that. Okay, did you get the job?
Yes.
That's crazy. I've said crazy things before, but that is nuts. Rich does. So Rich also knows very well things that fly, which is one of the reasons that we wanted to do this together, was because we're talking about the recent craziness in the Ukraine and Russia conflict. And, I kind of opened it with this, but for people that are just joining, regardless of what people's individual or personal feelings are about, Ukraine and Russia and Israel and whatever, okay? Whatever, put whatever personal political stuff you feel to the side for a moment. And it's important to actually look at and study war games and war gaming, like going through and war gaming through like stuff that's actually happened. And this attack is nuts. I mean, the amount, first off,
it is game changing. It is really, it is, it is the absolute, tipping the table over with the chess pieces on it.
Yep.
I had thought, I mean, when did the Israelis do the pagers and then the walkie-talkies? Was it last year?
Yeah, I think it was like last October, November.
I mean, that was next level stuff.
This is on that level. And that's why I think it should be discussed. And we do have another content creators video, because I could just tell you about it. I could pull up pictures and pull up video, but why not? I did not monetize this stream, and I did it for the purpose of us just being able to go through and play another content creator's video. He did an excellent job. I'll obviously cite his channel. We will do, I see it as fair use. We will actually go through DB Koopa, channel member. We'll go through and we'll actually look. It's just important to study these kind of things, because look, if you're a prepared civilian, you could potentially be that guerrilla warfighter looking for cheap and expensive and rudimentary ways to sabotage, to slow down, to break down infrastructure, to break down supply lines, to demoralize, to it's important to study things like this.
Now, Now, I think one of the most important things, like let's roll back to the Israelis, is not only was it brilliant, it was multi-level brilliant what they did. One, they set up, they found, I guess they found out they were looking for a pager because pagers can't be tracked. Cell
Yeah.
phones can be tracked, pagers cannot because it's one way. The signal goes out, you get it, okay, but there's no feedback on that.
Yeah.
So you can't you can locate people with cell phones. You can't, and it doesn't matter if you have your GPS on or off. They can triangulate and locate you
Hmm.
with cell phones.
Well,
Are
there are a couple things you can do, but short of being a literal hardware and software genius, most people are going to be trackable.
Yeah. So they thought they were super stealthy using pagers. And so a couple of things they did. So they set up a shell company. They got these pagers fit with some explosives.
I believe they use PETN,
Mhm.
which is a very high explosive. I th- I think right. It said PETN when we looked at the.
I'm pretty sure that was it.
Yeah, yeah.
But also, they didn't know. Here's the other cool AF thing is they didn't know who the bad guys were, but the bad guys knew who the bad guys were. Have your
Hmm.
pager. Have your pager. Have your pager.
Hmm.
It's the Oprah. You get a pager.
Yeah.
And then the next level, level 2 of the fist up the rectum, was they also sold them walkie talkies with explosives in them.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh, the pagers are all blowing up, and
I think you mean PETG. Oh no, actually, I think there is a
is there a
PETN.
PETN?
I think there is. It's actually a type of like PETG nylon fuse or something like
Oh,
that.
okay, yeah, maybe there is.
I think there actually may be level 3, hunt down folks with a limp. I mean, literally, there were a bunch of dudes that were
Sit
in
outside the ER waiting for somebody with a chest wound
straight
or
up
fingers blown off.
or banana hands where banana split hands or
So
the dude
there
with
is like
faces.
it's the ultimate peel the onion back. So there, I
Hold on,
gotta
hold on.
say,
I'm sorry, I gotta add one piece. And I didn't mean to cut you off. We're gonna do this to each other all night because this is
we're
exciting
excited
to
about
both of
this.
us. Yeah. And look, I don't rival in the passing of anyone, right?
No,
Especially I no, neither one of us rival in the death of anyone. We especially don't rival in the death of anyone that doesn't have a close relationship with Jesus. Okay, so I just want to throw that out there. So save yourself, get right with God. The only way to heaven is through Jesus. Anyway, we're looking at this from the perspective of studying and wargaming something that has been done and was effective and was extremely, I mean, remarkably covert, but also um it's going to sound like we're rivaling. That was highly effective, that if God forbid we ever ended up in a situation where we needed to, for a righteous reason, revolt, rebel, or have a revolution, then things like this would be very important. So just, you know, keep that in mind. All right. Sandwich Chef, good to see you, bro.
so there's yeah, there's stuff we talked about on the phone the other night, like Sunday night. I guess I shouldn't talk about
Which stuff?
my wargaming Penn Station scenario.
Oh no, don't do that. We've already been down that road on a live stream and it
Oh yeah,
got
that's right.
taken down because you were like, if you're in Penn Station, you can do this. I was like, no. It sounded like you honestly what you were saying is like to be a civilian and be aware of potential bad things that could happen, you need to be alert and pay attention and look around and just
Even
use
prior to 9/11, when I was working in Manhattan, I would do everything I
careful,
could to avoid Penn Station as a hub. If
careful.
and I'll leave it at that.
So, if you want to go ahead and talk through it first, because you were actually the one that put me onto this. You had told me about what happened. If you want to talk about it, then we'll go ahead and pull it up here. Lightning McQueen, good to see you, brother.
So they say this took, like a little over a year and a half, which I kind of call BS on that, to keep this
Yeah,
much information secure and the number of people involved with it for
it
a
would
year
have
and a
leaked
half.
for sure. It would have leaked. This was done
Somebody
in like 2 weeks, bro. Straight up.
somebody would have said something, and it would have lost the security. So
Or been captured and been like forced to
we would have
give
heard
up
it
info.
on one. I mean,
Yeah,
like, for first off, for somebody like uh any other country in the world other than the United States to pull this off, they had to be handwriting notes on paper and handing them to people,
yeah,
for nobody to know what's going on.
and then like burning it and eating the charcoal so no one sees it. I know an old man that lost a hand to an M80. I don't know if banana hands would make him laugh or mad. I'll tell you what, if he lost his hand, it was way more than an
Was he
M80,
like,
but yeah. Was he
what?
holding it in his coffee mug, in his light stamped steel coffee mug that was fully sealed? Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
So the so the let me give you the basics of the ops. So we basically have a modern guerrilla war going on, a technological guerrilla war going on, because Ukraine doesn't have technical sophistication. They don't have a large modern air force. They don't have many things, but they've been innovating. So they've been basically turning jet skis into unmanned surface drones, and took down basically the best Russian ship of the Black Sea
Yeah,
with a jet ski,
which is
a modified jet
crazy.
ski. They've
Now,
shot down Russian jets and Russian helicopters with surface to air missiles from these modified jet skis, basically.
yeah, that's crazy. Now, just so you guys know, this isn't like one driver kamikazing into something. They are literally remotely taking over a jet ski and turning it into an
Basically,
FPV.
Starlink. They're running Starlink on
Yeah,
these things.
and turning it into an FPV impact explosive water drone, which is like nuts. That is absolutely nuts. Testing, traveler. Good to see you guys. Yeah, so just to touch on this real quick. So Dust is one of my good
Oh,
friends from the Tactical Turkeys. The Tactical Turkeys did do a live stream, just basically saying that for the last few weeks they haven't streamed. People were kind of noticing. So Dust is stepping back from the live streams, and he's just going to do for a while. He's going to focus on like long form content, like uploading hard videos as opposed to doing streams. So support them when you can.
yeah,
That would
I
be a
gotta
big
say,
help.
I'm gonna miss them. I loved,
Yeah,
I loved what they did, how they did it, and I'm gonna miss it.
yeah, yeah. They'll still be around.
Mhm.
They're not going anywhere.
No, but I appreciate them. I met a lot of cool people through them because of that.
For sure. Yeah, I met Dust originally through Jay the Shooter, and it's funny
Uh-huh.
because I had already met Jay the Shooter, went to the Guns Out TV event, literally walked in, and the first thing I see Jay, he's like, "What up?" Dap him up, and he's like, "Yo, I got someone you need to meet." He
Oh,
walks
no
me,
way!
right, yeah, literally right to Dust, and was like, "Dust, DLD, DLD, Dust, you guys will get along," and he walked away. And since then,
Oh, that's
Dust
funny.
and I were just like connected, and
Oh,
he's a
cool.
great guy. Love Fish, Jay, Dude
Mhm.
Knowledge, all those guys are great. So
Yeah, yeah.
the only thing I
Smart
would ask of
guys.
you guys, and then we'll get back on track here, sorry, is when you do see them upload something, just do them a favor to keep, keep them growing and going in the right direction. When you see a video upload, you see a notification, click on it, click like, comment, say a few words at least or more, and just let the whole video run. Show them some love. So, Ed Zachary, brother, great to see you, man. Damian Cristo, great to see you.
Damien, is that better?
No
That's a
notification,
little
bro.
better.
I know it, man. It happens
What?
all the time. You got to think about it like this. They have like 310,000 subscribers, and we usually have about the same amount of viewers in there, right? So clearly, this platform is not doing their job getting the notifications out to the people that, you know what I mean. So it's kind of jacked up. Agorizer, great to see you, bro. All right, let's go ahead and get it. Lightning McQueen, all you guys, FGM.
So
All right, go
just
ahead.
just hitting on, kind of a little background. The Russians have tanks. I don't know what the Ukrainians have. I guess we've given them some Bradleys and a couple of
Yeah,
things,
yeah.
but the T90 is supposed to be like the pièce de la résistance of tanks, and they're
Uh,
taking them out with frickin' quadcopters.
yeah. I mean,
The,
with like crazy precision too. Like,
and yeah,
yeah,
like there's an open hatch. They'll drop a grenade straight into the frickin'.
yeah. It's crazy.
And
I'm
now
sorry.
they're building
We
these
gotta.
stupid dog houses, and
We
so
have
it has
to.
changed the battlefield. And I think
Oh yeah,
that's the face of modern
worldwide.
warfare.
Yeah.
So Desert Storm changed warfare.
Mm-hmm.
That warfare will never be fought the same way again after. And so each where the innovation in
Mm-hmm.
tactics, it's not necessarily the materials, it's the tactics, it's how you use them, it's how you coordinate force with other things.
And creativity, and just like the old saying, necessity is the mother of all inventions, or whatever it is. I mean, that's so true, because like here are, in this case, where you have people that are funded less, which is actually really hard to believe by the amount of money that they've gotten from the United States anyway. They just don't have the infrastructure supply line and the setup and the equipment that the people that they're fighting do. So when you're in that situation, basically, just like every other conflict we've seen, the outgunned and outmanned side needs to be creative, and they really just need to sabotage, and they need to demoralize, and they need to you know go after infrastructure. And we've seen that. We told the story about what was it, like, I think it was like Fallujah, or no, it was like Kuwait or something like that, where there was this water project, and they were supposed to bring fresh water to this village, and this village was like, we will completely abstain from engaging with the Taliban at all if you can just do this one thing and get us fresh water. So what did the US say? Of course we will. That's, we got water trucks, and we got all this and that, and then while we bring the water trucks to you every single day, we'll also fix and secure fresh water for you in your village. And they're like, great. So what did the Taliban do? Attack the water trucks every day. They would literally Swiss cheese the water trucks up to where by the time it got to the village, they were like almost empty and contaminated. So then they're like, okay, no water today, no water day 2, no water day 3, no water day 4. Then all of a sudden, that entire village ended up sympathizing with, you know what I'm saying? So
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
simply just doing something like sabotaging a few missions can just totally change the ground war completely. So it's interesting to look at stuff like that and be like, man, a few short machine gun bursts into a water truck and some IEDs, which obviously, like, I
Mm-hmm.
hate the
Mm-hmm.
fact that like Americans were dying in this story, right? So I again hate that. None of us are celebrating the death of anyone at all. We've already touched on that.
But tactics, I mean, it's how
Tactics.
you do things. It's how
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
how you employ things. So, um,
See you, FGM. Good to see you, brother. Man, 4.5 hours. Get some sleep, brother. Thank you, man.
so what we have to understand is, you don't, if the border of Russia and Ukraine are like this, you don't want all your important stuff within X miles, within 100 miles of that. So you're going to keep all of your valuable, important stuff more than 100 miles away, because that gets you out of the range of aircraft, drones. It gives you time to intercept, all of that, so that it gives you a margin of safety and security.
Well, I'm sure
So
also if you have like, let's say like bombers, planes that could literally never be produced or reproduced again ever, you'd probably have those like in shelters and things like that, right? Like in structures.
well, so the problem is to make a plane fly nearly around the world nonstop, non-refueled, like the Tu-95 that was built until 1993 and no more. They can't build another. Don't get me wrong. You throw enough money at it and enough Elon Musk's at it, you can build it.
Yeah.
But you can't build. It's not like it's not in a year. It's not in 5 years. You're
Mhm.
not. And I mean, this attack is like the U.S. wet dream. If the United States eliminated 10, 20, 30 of the operational Tu-95s, that would be amazing. I believe there's only like 50 of them operationally flying right now. Now, the
Mm.
Tu-95 is the equivalent of our B-52. It's
Yeah.
their long-range bomber.
Yeah.
And so that was built in 52. It entered service in 56, and it's still flying today. And just like the B-52, I mean, was it 1952? I think was the B-52.
I would
B-52.
assume.
They're talking about it'll fly for 100 years. That
Mm.
plane will be flying for 100 freaking years.
That's crazy.
So, and we have them in storage, in the boneyard in the desert, and we can activate them. But there's not a whole lot of them. If all of a sudden 20
Mhm.
or 30 were taken out, even though we have them, we can refurb the ones out there and get them running.
Mhm.
It's going to be a while.
Yeah.
That's a heavy dent. So what they did, I don't have a whole lot of information backing this up. So basically, it appears as though either they built drones in Ukraine or they built drones in Russia. They had a team go into Russia, and they had these cargo containers. They were saying prefab houses, but they just look like cargo containers.
Mhm.
They had the drones in the top, and the drones, the roof pulled off, the drones flew out, bombed these bombers simultaneously at 5 different air bases. One air base was like 2,000 miles away. So
Yeah.
they had a guy driving a flatbed truck
Actually,
thinking he's
2,200 kilometers
oh,
away.
okay.
Yeah, which
I,
is apparently greater than the distance between the East and West Coast, right? Because what, a kilometer is what? 2
it's like 0.6 or 0.7 miles.
Oh, I got that backwards. Sorry.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
okay, yeah. So not that far then. Well, what the heck
No,
were
it's
they
it's
talking?
still a big freaking distance.
Yeah, yeah.
So all over the Russia, not Soviet Union, uh, 5 different air bases were attacked simultaneously, you know, thousands of kilometers from the line, from the front. And apparently, what they did is they had these mobile homes or whatever that were on flatbed trucks, and they hired, Russian guys to drive the truck. They didn't know what was in the truck. And they said,
Mhm.
oh, leave it here, we'll pick it up. And that happens, depots, this, that, shipping, freight, all stuff like that
Yeah.
happens all the time. So the tops pop open, these things go out and blow up the jets. Now, so the drones were either made in Ukraine or made in the Russia. I keep saying Soviet Union.
That's how
Thrown
we
into
know how
these
old you are.
right, thrown into these cargo container or mobile homes, and then transported. Now they say the way they did it is they used cell phones to make the connection, cellular connection to the vehicle, and that the actual drones were fiber optically guided. So fiber optic, if you RF like a DJI drone, you can jam it. There's RF,
Yeah.
and you can jam it with, specialized jammers.
And actually, most Russian military vehicles now are just constantly running jammers all the time, and it will either auto home the drones or it will literally drop them directly out of the sky. They're even paying so close attention to they started changing the frequencies that they were operating on to like 700 to 1,000, and I mean
Mhm, mhm.
they're pretty much on point. So doing fiber optics.
And that's like spread spectrum technology was one of the first communication technologies of like next generation walkie talkies, and stuff makes it more difficult to jam. Anyhow,
Yeah.
but a fiber optic line can't be jammed. It's not RF.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
light. And
Mhm.
as long as the line is connected from the drone to where it's getting controlled, it works.
Yep.
So that's one of the crazy things. Now, there's all sorts of numbers. I was hoping by this time we would have good satellite imagery of the damage. And
They're gonna be covering up every single thing that they can, and I was actually surprised at some of the statements that they made right out of the gate on day one, and I
you
actually
mean
have the video.
the
You want me
Russian media?
Yes, the Russian media, which is obviously, like every other country,
Joe Q knows.
completely state-sponsored, media, which I actually have the video. You wanna start it, and then we'll
Yeah, yeah,
cut
let's go.
to. So, I have to take a moment to just laugh because, I sent Rich a video today, and I was like, "Dude, this is a 30-minute video."
I
It
watched it at 2x
was
speed.
Of course. It was,
No, maybe 3x speed.
I don't think you can do 3x
I
speed.
do.
You
Yeah,
can.
mobile, you can do 3x speed.
Yeah, no, I don't think, I just don't usually watch that. Anyway, so it was a video. Actually, I was honestly blown away, that they did this video. Dirty Civilian did a video. I actually reposted it
Good
on
video.
my, it was a really good video. If you guys are looking for it, obviously you could just go to the Dirty Civilian, YouTube channel. But I posted it on my channel. If you go to my post, my community post, you can see that I posted it, did a little, write up thing on it. That, as weird as this is to say, that I actually personally wrote. I guess I'm getting so sick of reading stuff and being like, this is clearly Chat GPT. Like, so I, with my fingers and brain, wrote something, and I just wanted to share that. But it was about when it is the right and righteous time to possibly fight back against the government. And I thought it was a very, very well done video. He went back and cited, from a religious standpoint, as a Christian, from a historic standpoint. He even referenced a lot of literature from, like the 1500s to 1700s, like prior to the. Just go look it up. It's an excellent video, and I thought it was great. So um, I have to laugh because Rich responded to me and says it's been 6 minutes and the guy hasn't even gotten to the point yet. And right now we are at 1 hour and 3.5 minutes, and we're just about to start the video. So my response to Rich was, welcome to the life of our viewers.
Yes.
So
Yes.
yeah, we feel the pain. Sorry guys, but we just like talking smack. That's why we do this. All right. We're never gonna be like professional content creators to here to speak about one thing and then one thing only and then leave, because that's
And sell your
super gay.
testosterone.
Yes, we don't want that. Rip Curl, what's up, brother? Good to see you. All right, let's jump into it. So this video is do. All right, so this is Preston Stewart, and he has a channel that he actually very frequently goes over a lot of Ukraine-Russia conflict footage and reports and news and media, stuff like that. And although, again, the whole political aspect of this, of like, I support this side, I support this side, I want this, I like, Israel and Hamas and Ukraine and Russia. This isn't about this. We are literally just talking tactics to study and wargame and have conversations about an impressive
Out of the box thinking.
yes, and this is like exactly that. So we're going to play it. This is absolutely fair use, but because I didn't want to get slammed by the tubes, I did not monetize the video tonight, just so you all know. So you shouldn't be getting ads. If you are getting ads, then that's YouTube giving you ads because they're like, you don't want to get paid off this, then we will, because you know how they get down. But we'll go ahead and start this, and we'll in using fair use, we'll pause.
So every media has this exact same drone video. I have not seen any different drone videos.
Yeah, I haven't seen any different ones either.
Today is June.
Okay, that's weird. All right, so I'm gonna have to mute just so there's no echo, but we'll start it. All right.
Today is June 1st, 2025, and Russia is burning. Not the entire country, but a few key strategic airfields after Ukraine smuggled in short-range drones in some hidden compartments in cargo trucks, launched them, and appear to have destroyed or significantly degraded one key leg of the Russian nuclear triad. Now, I don't want to get ahead of ourselves because we're still learning the effects of this operation, but it is starting to look like this might be the most daring and most effective military operation that we've seen in a long time. So what we know right now, again,
I just want to pause this really quickly and say that you can see on this screen, it's not the best quality. He will actually go full screen and show the whole thing. Sport Brand, what's up, brother? I know we need to connect. I'll definitely holler at you. If you're around tomorrow, let me know. He does go full screen, and he does show the.
So you saw a couple Tu-95s there. That's I think a cargo plane that the pencil's currently pointing at.
Yeah, and they actually showed the exact spots of where the drones should fly into exactly on the.
So apparently, the other thing that you're going to see in this video is there's tires on the wings of the plane, and they say in case the drones are flown by AI alone, that's supposed to confuse the AI, which that could be easily trained out. That's.
And they actually literally in blank spots, like in between the planes, they would literally put like tires and parts and just like weird stuff to try to confuse the AI, which I would assume that something would be like reviewed by a human being. But some of the drones after the attack, these shipping containers, which you'll see here shortly, were remotely opened, and then they look to be 6 rows of 4 drones per shipping container, and at least 6, if not more, shipping containers. 1 or 2 of the drones were held back for tactical redundancy, but then also recon to go after and look at the damage.
Battle damage assessment.
Yes, which is
nuts. That tape self-destructed in 5 seconds.
Yes, which we'll talk about that. We have footage of that too. So I'm gonna go ahead and replay or play.
Details are still coming out, is that Ukraine effectively targeted and struck 4 strategic Russian airfields in the eastern portion, or the central and eastern portion of the country. I'm going to butcher the names here. Belaya, Yaglevo, Olenya, and Ivanovo. There's also a rumor that a submarine base was hit. That, at this point, is not confirmed. There was some footage that was shared from a different location attributed to the sub base. The 4 airfields are confirmed. Those airfields are home to some of Russia's strategic airlift capability and strategic bomber capability. Tu-95s, Tu-95s are strategic bombers capable of carrying nuclear weapons. IL-76 are strategic airlift aircraft, and then A-50, A-50s are like their AWACS, early warning platforms. That is where a lot of these are housed, and based off of the footage that we're seeing, at least a couple of those have been destroyed. Now, the reason that we haven't really heard the names of those airfields before, there's a lot of others much closer to Ukraine that are getting hit on a pretty regular basis, all things considered. But these airfields that were just hit earlier today are a long ways away from Ukraine. Belaya, for instance, 4,500 kilometers from Kharkiv. That's greater than the distance from New York to California.
4,500. That's what I was referring to.
Ukraine just simply does not have any munitions that go that far.
So I didn't recall, but I remember that being mentioned. I had just misspoke on what aspect. Yeah,
4,500. Yeah,
4,500
that's
kilometers.
New York to LA, easy.
Yeah, that's crazy.
The West has not. We talk about ATACMs or Storm Shadows or Taurus missiles. None of those are
Gord,
traveling
G23, gentlemen, good to
4,500
see you. Robert
kilometers, right?
Ham,
So
good to see you.
the way that this played out is actually pretty interesting. We've got a few more details that have started to come out. Now, in terms of the impact here, we should note that we don't know how many aircraft have been destroyed and or damaged. We probably won't ever know that. We'll get some clear footage released by Ukraine, no doubt, because we already have some.
The
Russia,
range, good to see
not
you.
in their interest to share exactly how many of these aircraft have been taken out, because we have a general idea of how many they have in operation. And again, when you're talking about Tu-95 bombers, that's one leg of Russia's nuclear triad. We've got the submarine-launched nuclear missiles, we've got the ground-based nuclear missiles, and then you've got the air-launched nuclear capabilities.
Here's
one
the
of
slowed down
those
footage.
takes a 10, 15, 60% hit, whatever it is. That's a
I think
significant
this is a run where it goes
degradation
into the
to
plane.
the overall threat that Russia
Yeah,
poses.
that's what I'm
So
saying. It
they're not
it
gonna share.
literally
Now, turning to what this
aims
operation may
at
have
the
looked like,
wing.
we've got some really
Basically, it
interesting
looks like
footage
the
and
wing
pictures
spar.
here. According to Jimmy Rushin,
Yeah.
he says details and images of the preparation of today's
That's
SBU
the fact.
operation have been revealed by Ihor Lachenikov. The special
There you go.
operation, codenamed Spiderweb, was a result. As a result, the SBU
That's
hit 41
crazy.
Russian strategic aviation aircraft. That's very specific. We've heard Russian sources so far throw out on or about 40.
And then
41
it
makes me
just
think that they were actually
Loss of
counting
signal.
these.
Yeah,
as signal. So
signal
let's keep that number
gone.
back in mind.
Dude,
They're
that's
prepared for-
crazy.
This operation took more than a year and a half to
Like,
prepare.
oh, that X.
According to our sources,
Tech,
the
what's up,
operation
brother?
was extremely complex from a logistical
Yeah,
point of
so
view.
that's what I was
The
referring
SBU first
to.
transported
It showed
FPV
that
drones
the
to
X on the
Russia,
wing.
and later mobile wooden containers. And you'll see some of these here. They say were hidden under the
All right, I
roofs
want
of
to
the
pause this real
containers in
quick.
the-
So there's another picture where it literally shows, I think, it's either 6 or 8 of these. We'll show in a sec.
So are those solar panels on the top?
Yes, solar panels on the top. So I don't know. So basically, what I understand is, and he explains this, is that it's a shipping container that was literally cut and then like cleaned up, right? And then they installed remote operated hydraulic systems to open it up, and I guess that's what the
So,
the panels were for.
so you have to have, battery equipment
Batteries.
in there that
Yep.
maintains, connectivity, that also keeps the batteries charged in the drone. You got to have some sort of trickle charging facility. While shipping, you got to make sure the drones aren't moving around, getting jostled, that two aren't on top of each other. You spin the props up and it just doesn't do anything. There's a lot going on there.
There's a lot, and they have to be able to be reached remotely to open the tops. You have to be sure that there's not going to be malfunctions. They have to be in a place where they can receive sunlight on the whatchamacallits, on the panels to the batteries, and then you have to make sure, as long as there's no malfunction. And I think that's why they had so many, for tactical redundancies. But dude, I mean, this looks like it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, at least 7, if not maybe even 8 rows of at least 3, maybe 4 drones, depending on how much more this can open here on the side. We're talking, let's say 21 to 28 drones per truck. Okay. Think about seeing that thing open and just like buzzing, just all those drones spilling out, dude. That would be absolutely terrifying. The only thing more terrifying than this would be like 200 of the like micro drones. Like that just, for some reason, that just absolutely terrifies me. Like,
so the only way you're taking these things down is with a shotgun.
Well, so even with that, a lot of soldiers that served in the Ukraine had talked about that. They're like, do not shoot them down. You cannot shoot them down. If you shoot them down, either expect to be hit by an airstrike in the next 5 to 20 minutes, or expect to be infiltrated by an entire wave of Russian shooters or machine gun fire, or they're just going to send a whole fleet of drones your way with explosives on them. So initially, they were all shooting the drones out of the sky, and then 5, 10, 15 minutes later, 10 come back, or several come back, or they get hit with an airstrike or mortars or whatever, because they could say, oh, at this place, at this, particular, whatever
These
spot
coordinates,
on
yeah.
these coordinates or the spot on the GPS or
Find, fix,
whatever.
destroy, as Joe Vacuo said.
Yeah. Yep. So, when they're shot out of the sky,
Yeah,
they're
that
like,
works on the front lines.
boom. Yeah. Yeah.
But thousands of kilometers into Russian territory, shotgun.
Yeah, I think it depends on the situation. If you're going to be moving rather quickly, then yeah, shooting it out of the sky and burning, burning rubber to get out of there is probably the best move. But I mean, look at this, guys. We're talking about torch cutting some shipping containers, rigging up some, relatively rudimentary, hydraulic systems, and plywood and 2x4 false ceilings. That's it. And then, of course, the technology aspect of the drones and the high explosives and control. I mean, this is, yeah, it is a lot. I don't mean to, but still, for not doing a lot, this is doing a lot. So we'll go ahead and continue.
He's you see the pictures here. The FPV stack looks like false ceilings, if you will. Let's see, at the right moment, the roofs of the containers were remotely open and the drones flew to strike the Russian bombers. We have unique photos here showing exactly how drones were prepared to attack military airfields. Sources in the SBU, this is important, emphasize that the people who took part in this historic special operation have been in Ukraine for a long time. So if the Putin regime detains someone, it'll be another staged event for the domestic audience. We actually got some footage as well. This stuff seems like straight out of Hollywood.
All right, let me touch on this real quick. So I never have any plan of putting up any channel member leaderboard I honestly, and I totally understand why some content creators want to do that. Okay. Let me just say this. I think to use tactics to guilt people into contributing to you is super bad taste. If anyone out there chose to give to me, if you're here an hour and 17 minutes in, it's highly likely that if you were to choose to, how to contribute to the channel, right? And I actually do have a bunch of stuff coming up that I'm working on now, hard videos, testing some newer guns, and we'll get to more of that later. But I think it's kind of bad taste to put the whole leaderboard thing out there, and I think you got to go in there and click it and like put it up. I'm not personally going to do it. I think it's a kind of a bad look to like guilt your people into contributing to you. If you guys were to choose to contribute, almost all of you know how to. Yes, I have a Cash App. It's in the description. Yes, I have a PayPal, even though they've frozen my money at times and done all sorts of crazy stuff. And then, of course, DLD hardware and Definition knives. If you guys choose to do that, that's on you. But I'm not going to put up a leaderboard of I want to be cool too. I want to be number one. I think that's just not a good look. That's all I'm saying. And if I hurt anyone's feelings because I said that, then I'm sorry, bro. But 'tis what it is. That's a beautiful knife right there, Rich. I also have a beautiful knife right here. Which one do you have? I have the Journalist.
I have the Journalist.
Oh, but mine's different. I don't have anything.
Oh, you have the OG Journalist, the unbranded OG. Journalist.
I kind of want to do something with it. Anyway, sorry. We'll get back. But yeah, Agorizer, I feel you. Me too. I've noticed that in like all of the live streams I'd been in. Anyway, Range, Sport Brand, Rebel Spirit, Tactical Muffin Top. Good to see you, bro. Black Diamond, Jeezy. Great to see you, brother. If I miss anyone else, sorry. I'm super behind on chat. Yeah, and go support the homies Black Diamond, Josh, Fat Tac. If you don't know about the Fat Tac holster, I wish I could show you what I'm rocking in my pants right now, but I can't.
Me too.
It's YouTube. But yeah, if you're looking for a great way to carry large guns concealed very comfortably, That's the way. I don't get anything. I don't make any money off of that or anything. I'm just saying, go support our homie. So anyway, all right, let's go ahead and bring it back.
Hollywood. So I'm a little hesitant right out the gate to share this, but it's circulating enough on both Russian and Ukrainian channels now that I feel like there's at least something to this. But what we see in this video shows one of these trucks apparently parked outside of one of the Russian airfields, and you can see the drones flying out the back, just one after the other. And these are short-range drones. There's rumors right now that these may have been wire-guided or fiber optic drones. Remember, we've seen those able to strike targets out to 20 kilometers or further. So you park this truck just on the outskirts of an airfield, it's going to have no issue hitting the bombers there. It is possible that these were fiber optic from the vehicle. And the reason I say that is any sort of electronic warfare jamming directly over the airfield is probably to be expected. So it wouldn't be shocking if you'd want to go into that attack, that attack pattern with some sort of capability to not have the drones knocked out with EW. We also have some videos showing these vehicles supposedly self-destructed, again, straight out of Hollywood, right? Self-destructed after these drones took off and effectively struck their targets. Again, still details coming out of it.
Okay. That right there, he's talking about stuff like straight out of the movies. This is like straight up Mission Impossible type stuff right here. First off, that is adorable that one of his kids painted like a father and son watercolors picture of Bluey and whatnot in the background. That's adorable. If you know what that is, then you got kids. Also, it's hilarious that the trucks in Russia and Ukraine are called Sitback.
I think that's Sitrack. I don't think that's a B. I think it's an R.
Whatever. It's funny either way. Anyway, I mean, you also have to fitting in all that stuff that we already talked about, right? The false ceiling, the drones, the let's assume it's hydraulic. The top was lifted off with hydraulics, solar panels, batteries, and all that technology, right? And high explosives behind, which I guess could be just one remote operated drone behind.
Well, I mean, it could be, a couple of gallons of gasoline and something incendiary, a sprinkler system.
Yeah, I'm probably not a sprinkler system, but
or an Egyptian with some, pump bottle weed killer.
So I thought about this. I actually think that. So I was wondering, why would you build a false ceiling out of wood? Right? That's dumb.
So if it's a mobile container home, you would put studs. So on an insulation. So they always frame out the interior with 2x4s and insulation.
Is that what they said these were supposed to be, like tiny homes?
So if you look, you're looking into the door in the back right now. That's the flamey thing.
Yeah. So I didn't know that they were. I just thought they were shipping containers. I didn't know that they were supposed.
They're supposed to be mobile homes.
Man, people are living in shipping containers. That's crazy. Who would actually have a shipping container in their backyard? Rich. I'm just kidding. But I thought about it and I was like, wouldn't you, to make it as like low pro and low vis as possible, wouldn't you do like sheet metal that matched but no, I think for two reasons, probably to make it look as realistic as possible, but also wood happens to burn very, very well, so you completely torch any and all evidence of how things were hidden. So they, are less likely to know what to look for in the future, but they probably left some type of remote detonated can of thermite and all the molten. I don't know if we can talk about that. Anyway, I mean, it would be super easy to just have something catch fire. I think thermite would be the way for real. But maybe they used wood intentionally to make it burn like this. Who knows?
But this is a key component. If these regular looking cargo trucks were launching short range drones, destroying Russian bombers, Russia's probably going to be a little bit concerned about if there's any more of those floating around the country. Now, an important aspect here is going to be getting into the Russian reaction. We're actually hearing a lot more from Russia right now than we are from Ukraine. But real quick, wanted to pitch the fundraiser we have going on right now. This is to pick up unmanned ground vehicles, recon drones, and power generation for 2 Ukrainian units, the 3rd Assault Brigade and the 13th Hartia Brigade. We actually got a couple interviews coming up with guys of these units to talk about how they're using some of this technology.
I'm just going to let it keep rolling during this time. Obviously, I am not personally encouraging anyone,
which is a
sorry, I'm not currently encouraging anyone to contribute to any or either side of any conflict. We're just doing
donations
this to review, like the wargaming aspect of stuff here.
Hopefully wrap this one up before too long, but there you go. Now, moving on to the Russian responses here, which are pretty interesting. Rybar, Russian media says, quote, at the moment, there's a large-scale attack on Russian strategic aviation air.
Dude, look at just like that is
there. I used to work there.
1, 2, 3, 4, just like billowing smoke clouds I mean, you could see that from miles and miles and miles. And
there's skyline shots, where it's like 50 miles away and you can see just black plumes.
Crazy.
Airfields in the Murmansk and Irkutsk regions, which have already resulted in the loss of several Tu-95 bombers. The attack was carried out using FPV drones, first-person view drones, which were launched from trucks that arrived at the facilities. Control was carried out through installed repeaters via satellite communication.
Dude, that's crazy.
Tu-95 and Tu-22 strategic aviation aircraft have long been discontinued, and there is nothing to do to restore them. Accordingly, these losses cannot be restored. This is, without exaggeration, a very serious blow to the strategic component, caused by both serious miscalculations in the work of the special services and a careless attitude toward aviation management.
Listen to what he says here.
After all of the attacks, stood in the open field without shelters. Let's recall the old question. Is building a shelter more expensive than a new aircraft that has been discontinued? The sad answer can be found now. Now, I should note.
Okay. Ouch. Did you catch that? While we're looking at these huge black plumes of smoke, he said something along the lines of, like, to the age-old question of, is it more expensive or is it worth it to build a structure like over aircraft? I mean, in this case, like Rich had mentioned, and like we've all mentioned several times, including the stranger that you guys are listening to, man, they're never going to be able to reproduce these literally ever again. What you said, the last one was built in 1993?
Something like that, yeah.
So 30 plus years ago, and they cannot build these, and this was like a huge portion of
nobody knows how to build one now.
Yeah.
So there's a couple of issues with this. So first off, I think we need to talk about, hey, the Chinese own farmland next to our most sensitive air bases, military bases.
Absolutely, dude. That's what we've been talking about for like, it feels like 2 years now.
What could they do with that?
What could they do with, what was it, 3.5 tons of missing ammonium nitrate? Dude. It's not like they need any precursors to explosives. Let's be
now, here's the other problem. And if you're talking about, if you put them in a hangar, they'd be fine. Well, no, you just need one drone to get through the hangar and the second drone to blow up what's in the hangar.
Yeah. Yep.
To fly through the hole the first drone made.
Yeah, you just need a daisy chain of drones. Sport brand, something that costs $3 to $5 grand to take out a $10 million plane. What an ROI. And he said, I'm probably lowballing the cost of the plane. Yeah, I literally have no idea what the cost of these planes would be. I mean, technically, they're literally irreplaceable, right? So
nobody's going to ever build one again.
Yeah. So I'll highlight this last part that he said again. It'll be a little echoed because I won't be fast enough to get to the mute, but
management, which even after all of the attacks stood in the open field without shelters. Let's recall the old question. Is building a shelter more expensive than a new aircraft that has been discontinued? The sad answer can be found now. Now, I should
That
note
came
we've
from
got
Russia.
American military aircraft sitting outside of shelters in some forward deployed locations down in Diego Garcia. We've got some of our most advanced aircraft right now. And there's a lot of people in the space pointing to that going, hey, guys, pay attention. Do you see what's happening right
And
now?
actually, you know what, Rich, make sure we circle back on the amount of land that is owned by
Commies.
It's a company that's owned by a company that's linked back to the Chinese, the PLA. And
so they're saying, this one site I'm looking at, $50 million for a Tu-95.
Ooh.
You can't build another one.
$50 million as value, but it's like, okay, you remember that 4-barrel 357 Magnum Cop Derringer, right?
Yes,
that was like a $500. Now all of a sudden they're thousands of dollars because you can't get them again. They don't. Same thing. The Smith & Wesson 296, this super dope 44 special. Dude, I may have a handful of those though. For the right price. I'm just kidding. But yeah, dude, how you can't put a value on it, But yeah, I do want to go back and touch on the aspect of one of our enemies owning a total like metric butt ton of land next to some of our most sensitive areas in the United States. I think that's something that we all need to, especially with having some of the most loose borders over the last 4
years.
Yeah, honestly, yeah, let's say 4 years and more. But yeah, I think that's important to go over and more. But yeah, anyway, here we go.
Have to build more shelters for our aircraft, and that's the issue that a lot of these Russian aircraft ran into here. Some of these shelters, very limited construction overhead, can do quite a bit to prevent or minimize the damage from some of these FPV drones. If nothing else, it makes them that much harder to hit. But just sitting out on the tarmac like this, like we saw earlier today, I mean, easy pickings, right? Now, what you're seeing laid across those vehicles isn't really protect.
Yeah, honestly, let's be real. More likely, it's going to be like fentanyl bombs at every single major city in the United States, and I'll be the only one left standing because of how high my tolerance is. I'm sorry, that's a terrible joke. It's all bad. All bad. All right, sorry. We'll return.
It's tires and things that are designed to kind of obstruct, my understanding. I'm not really sure if this plays out. It almost sounds like an old wives' tale at this point. It's designed to obstruct AI and kind of automated learning from being able to detect those images and say, yes, that is a Tu-22. Or that is a Tu-95. We should go after that kind of bomber that's in the target bank. I guess the tires like throw it off or something. Maybe a couple of years ago. I'm not convinced that really works anymore. Nonetheless, those aren't there for protection per se. And you can see they're not really doing anything to protect the aircraft. Fighter bomber is having quite the day. So there's a Russian mill blogger over there that focuses on aviation, and he is not doing great. He said today will later be called a black day for Russian long-range aviation, and the day is not yet over. Two Majors, another Russian mill blogger here, said, talking about the response, and this is something we need to get into. He says, this is important. This is a reason to launch nuclear strikes on Ukraine. This is a direct undermining of the nuclear strategic balance of power and a reduction in nuclear security of our country. And Kyiv is counting on an asymmetric response of a non-nuclear nature. We've been responding asymmetrically for 4 years now. The enemy has long studied us. And we are starting to see a lot of commentary from very pro-Russian nationalistic accounts talking about, hey, we need to go over the top here in the response. This cannot be a, let's launch another 100 or 150 drones and missiles at Ukrainian cities even. They want something big. They want something that their population can celebrate. I don't expect that it would lead to any sort of actual nuclear attack, but
just hearing that, okay? Just hearing he said two majors in the Russian army were saying that that is reason to strike to commit a nuclear strike on Ukraine, and like that's here. Let me see the exact languaging.
I don't, let's launch another 100 or 150 for nature. We've been responding asymmetrically for
Here.
This is a direct undermining of the nuclear strategic balance of power and a reduction in nuclear security of our country. And Kyiv is counting on an asymmetric response of a non-nuclear nature. We've been responding asymmetrically for 4 years now. The enemy has
I missed it.
and we are starting to see a lot of Russian mill blogger here talking about the response. And this is something we need to get into. He says this is not just a pretext. This is a reason to launch nuclear strikes on Ukraine. This is a direct undermining of the nuclear strategic balance of power and a reduction in nuclear security of our country. And Kyiv is counting on an asymmetric response of a non-nuclear nature. We've been responding asymmetrically for 4 years now. The enemy has long studied this. And we are starting to see a lot of commentary from very pro-Russian nationalistic accounts talking about, hey, we need to go.
I still missed it, but
in the response,
whatever, y'all get it.
Not be a, let's launch another 100 or 150 drones and missiles at Ukrainian cities even. They want something big. They want something that their population can celebrate. I don't expect that it would lead to any sort of actual nuclear attack, but the reason that two majors is even getting into that direction is what we mentioned at the beginning of this video. This is one leg of the Russian nuclear triad. So you're talking about an aspect of their nuclear deterrence that, if nothing else, has been degraded a little bit. And when you look at Russian nuclear doctrine, that is one of the aspects they talk about that would justify a retaliatory nuclear strike in their eyes. And from a big picture, you have to think about that with a, say the United States and Russia were at war. If the United States did not launch a nuclear attack, but if the US or NATO went after and knocked out the entire Russian Air Force and they were no longer capable of firing air-launched nuclear weapons, that's a hit to Russia's ability to defend themselves. They might view that as the necessary response being a nuclear strike. We don't tend to see that when it's a non-nuclear state.
So, okay. So let me ask you, Rich, what are your thoughts on all this?
It's terrifying because basically, we have seen long-range fixed-wing FPV drones with, like 4 or 6 quadcopters underneath, drop the quadcopters, basically range extension. So instead of just doing X kilometers, whatever their, battlefield direct range is, they're basically piggybacking on a fixed wing, range extending and getting out. This basically, no asset, nothing is safe from a quadcopter drone anywhere. I mean, this is it, and I don't even want to say things that I've wargamed in my head since this. I don't want to talk about it. On Rumble, I talk about it, but I don't want to talk about it here.
Yeah.
It's your channel, and
you've gotten me banned enough, so I actually want to show something here. So I've actually shown this before multiple times, but I want to show it again. This actually, let me just say this. This, I like how you switch to your shipping container. Yeah, well, that's great.
This is not a green screen. This is actually, I'm living in my cargo container.
You're living in, oh, that's good. Okay, so there's this company, Flannery. We'll come back to this again. I just want to touch on this, okay? Do I think that there's going to be nuclear strikes between Russia and Ukraine? I don't know. I have no idea. Just my basic thought before we get into this is, if any nation, if their 3 prongs of their nuclear trinity, triad, whatever you want to call it, has been attacked, what would they assume? That whoever is attacking is attempting to reduce their capabilities to fight, using nuclear weapons, right? So it would make sense that they would protect and restore, or maybe even overtly, instead of being defensive, maybe they become offensive. But I'll tell you what, we're going to be put as the United States, we're going to be put in a really difficult position where we're basically going to have to jump all in balls deep into a nuclear conflict. This is what started all of this, man. This is what the expansion of NATO and it's just so crazy to me to allow these random strangers that are milking us for all of our money and resources and just graping us daily, and they're the ones that are in charge of us living in a decent life or complete nuclear meltdown. It's crazy to me. There's not a single politician that I trust. There's not a single politician that I like. There are a couple that I dislike less than most others. But man, to put that amount of trust in politicians that have almost always historically let us down and been negligent and messy, and they're fed by war, right? Like the military industrial complex is a real thing, and a lot of people had said the moment that we're no longer dumping 50-60 billion dollars into to the Ukraine, watch where that 50-60 billion dollars goes next time. And it's really interesting that things like this happen right around this time. Anyway, so this picture that you guys are looking at right here is a zoomed in picture of the state of California. And this I took a screenshot of on Black Scout Survival's live stream. So I'm referencing this from Black Scout Survival. Okay. Now, if you take a look, this is Travis Air Force Base in California. There is a company called Flannery and Associates. Well, Flannery and Associates basically is a UPS PO box. Okay. This company, whose business license is connected to a UPS PO box, once some background investigation was done on the individual that owned that US UPS post office box, not USPS, UPS, okay, because that gives you an actual street address. They eventually looked into this person and found that this person is directly, this organization, these people are directly linked to the PLA, to the People's Liberation Army of China. Now, they've been purchasing properties, land, every single thing that's been going up for sale. And this is not inexpensive living, right? This is primo priced property, highly expensive and sought after properties. These are all of the properties and the land that has been purchased linked back to Flannery and Associates, which is directly related to the PLA in China. Now, if you look here, I may have to zoom in here. If you look, this is Travis Air Force Base here with this little runway sticking out.
So it just looks like KC-130s and C-5As, nothing to worry about.
Yeah, no big deal. Just like our strongest air implements in the country that is there at Travis Air Force Base. And not only is 2/3 of the base completely surrounded by property that's been purchased by this company, but look at all of this land, even land all the way over here. It's like, I don't know on like the grand scale, like how much we're talking about like acreage wise, but this is massive. So just keep this in mind. I mean, I get it. Sleeper cells gonna sleep, but we cannot, because one day they might wake up and they might, there might be an issue to deal with. So we shall see. Anyway, all right, I'll get back to it. Anything you want to add to it?
No, I'm good.
Perfect.
Attacking a nuclear state, but this is Russia, and they tend to go that direction pretty quickly. So nonetheless, we do need to keep an eye out for a Russian response here in the coming days. Sorry,
I actually meant to read this. Stifler had said earlier back, Absolutely. Additionally, Chinese businesses have been attempting to buy, and they have been purchasing or leasing land near U.S. military installations, which has been noted. Chinese tourists have also been seen taking photos of U.S. installations. That is 100% happened
Why
all
bother?
over the
Just send a
place.
balloon over.
Yeah, right? Not like they've already done that multiple times.
Don't know if I would expect it tonight, but we know that Putin and the Security Cabinet Council there is already holding an emergency meeting based off of this. We probably are going to see
Very
some
good
sort
point.
of long-range strike response in the very near future. Additionally, a couple items to keep an eye on as more information comes out here. And for what it's worth, I figure this is probably going to be the first of a couple different videos I'll be putting out today, or at least over the next couple days as we get more information. Let's keep an eye out for people rounded up inside of Russia. Again, Ukraine made clear that this was all done remotely. Now, maybe they hired some drivers that didn't know the cargo they had or something like that, but Ukraine is making clear that, hey, if you catch somebody and say that they're involved with this, they're not. They have no idea what's going on. And we'll see. I would expect that Russia is probably going to round some people up in the near term and say they were involved in some way, shape, or form. On top of that, there were a couple different rail lines last night, bridges that collapsed in Western Russia. One in Bryansk.
This is huge. Okay. Here, I'll let it run for a second, then I'll come back.
Kursk. Right out the gate, the reports from Russia were, hey, it just looks like these bridges were getting old and the infrastructure was neglected. But then when the second one happened around 3 a.m. local time, all of a sudden it turned over to, this looks like sabotage. It looks like Ukraine is intentionally dropping some of these rail bridges.
Okay, so I want you guys to think about this for a second, okay? So we're talking about sabotage, demoralizing, breaking supply chains, and all that stuff, right? So within 12 hours of these other coordinated attacks occurring, these are train rail lines with bridges over them. Okay, so we're talking about a T, all right? Bridge going over rail line. The way they move stuff is with trains and automobiles, obviously planes too. So if they totally collapse a bridge with what looks to be several trucks and other vehicles and stuff like that on it, if they totally collapse a bridge on top of train rails, that completely neutralizes the use of the train rail, and it completely neutralizes the use of the bridge. This even happening once, even remotely close to the same time that these other drone attacks happen, is like 1 in a million. This happening twice at another location where the bridge goes over the train rails, like it neutralizes both. I mean, these are game-changing sabotage attacks.
And then they did some underwater demolition on the bridge that goes into Crimea.
Yeah. Man, that's crazy.
So this stuff's real.
Does Ukraine even make drones?
They 3D print. They're 3D printing them.
Yeah, they're literally getting like motors and parts from all over the world, and they're getting them sent via eBay and Amazon, and then they're 3D printing stuff. They're 3D printing the motor arms to release items. Did you see that one video where it had like 24? Yeah, dude, crazy. Yeah. So, all right. Well, I'll pick this up.
In the western portion of the country, and sabotage is being thrown around a lot. And I wonder if they're going to try to tie that to this, given how quickly both of those two events played out. But anyway,
I'm sure it's an isolated incident.
You have to think about the psychological impact inside of Russia. These things were launched from inside of vehicles, inside of trucks that just look pretty normal, driving all over Russia. They have to wonder how many other of those trucks are currently in the country right now, how many are parked ready to launch, and if they have anything that could effectively defeat this. Like, if one of these showed up outside of another Russian military base as I'm recording, can they do anything to shoot those drones down?
Frannery and Associates.
Out of luck at this point. So nonetheless, again, from what we've seen so far, it does look an awful lot like this is probably the most significant, most daring military operation carried out by anybody in a long, long time. You're talking about small, cheap, inexpensive drones being used to destroy one leg of a nuclear powers nuclear triad. That's insane. Strategic bombers being destroyed by radio-controlled drones, one after the other after the other. We just
Toys.
It's hard to come up with a comparison. For that.
Yep.
But nonetheless, again, we'll continue to gather more information and try to keep you updated as best we can. That's all I got for now. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all next
All
time.
right. So imagine this. Imagine there being, instead of maybe in the United States, instead of an attack happening in the United
Ukraine
States,
attacked.
where it's mobile homes, cargo containers, something like that, which that could be, totally done. That replay could happen here.
Yep.
Imagine if there was somehow, some way, companies delivered packages to front doorsteps every day.
Imagine.
And just imagine that those packages just pop the top off and some,
Yeah.
little robot comes out.
Imagine if the DHL becomes so big that it do the same thing.
Or anybody. I don't want to give war game because that would be bad for the channel.
7-Eleven was a part-time job. Duh. I should probably stop saying that and start a DIY drone parts kit company, but I love you guys. Dude, most people are not gonna do it on their own. I still don't change my own oil, It's just some stuff that how many years it took me to even start 3D printing? Like it's most people just won't do on their own. So yeah, sorry.
Now, this wouldn't be a bridge in Crimea, the Kerch Bridge? No.
Yeah,
they would bomb that again.
Dude, underwater demo is so gangster. Like, you guys... And there's actually a lot of very easy and simple ways to waterproof things. But, I mean, understanding...
delivering
the pressures of water, how you can actually make things that use the water against the structures when things go like off and stuff. Really, really great. I clicked on this. I don't want to like necessarily jump into it unless you guys want to as well. I haven't looked into this at all, but it's another thing that happened. And this, honestly, this is like basic guerrilla warfare 101. Bridges, trains, highways, out. Take them. They take them out. If you're in warfare, and we're talking, and it's not just like basic rudimentary like guerrilla type stuff. I mean, this is like 101, right? Anyway, yeah, I don't know. Do you guys want to see a little bit of this?
Yeah,
too,
let's watch the bridge blow up.
Well, I don't know if we're gonna. Well, let's see.
Attack the Kerch Bridge again. Well, Ukraine attacked the Kerch Bridge again for the third time.
I stand corrected.
Let's get into what we know. The Ukrainian military put out a statement saying, quote, "The security service of Ukraine has carried out..." Well, Ukraine attacked the Kerch Bridge again.
Ooh, that's what we call extra large. Dude,
That'll leave a mark.
That is epic. DLD, apparently it was Russian sea mines that were used to destroy the Kerch Bridge. Woof. Wow. That just stings. It stings of the ego. All right, here, I'll let it go.
Again for the third time. So let's get into what we know. The Ukrainian military put out a statement saying, quote, "The security service of Ukraine has carried out a new, unique special operation and struck the Crimean Bridge for the third time." That's the footage you're seeing on the screen here. This time underwater. The operation lasted several months. SBU agents planted explosives on the supports of this illegal structure, and today at 4:44 a.m., without any civilian casualties, the first explosive device was detonated. The underwater pillars of the bridge supports were severely damaged at the seabed level, thanks to 1,100 kilograms of explosives in TNT equivalent. As a result, the bridge is now in critical condition. So a couple of key points I want to pull from that statement.
So it's important that you guys understand this. Trinitral toluene is TNT. It's a very, very, very popular explosive that's used in demolition. In most cases, commercial demolition has gone to other things. Okay. I'm sure you guys know, the type of things that commercial demo has gone to. Anyway, think rider trucks. Moving on. It must have been like an amphibian that that detonated. Okay, bad joke. Anyway, 1,100 kilos is 2.2 pounds, or 1,000 grams, 2.2 pounds, multiplied by 1,100. So what we're talking about here is 2.2 times 1,100. That's 1,100, right? 2,420 pounds of TNT. Or
So
TNT.
basically, a small car's worth.
Nearly a ton. Nearly a literal metric ton. Dang. Okay. Sorry. I just had to kind of, bring that up. Info, which is ammonium nitrate, diesel. And so anyway, moving on.
First off, unique special operation is the same language Ukraine used, like word for word, when
My bad. I was on another tab. I did not see the super chat. Thank you so much, John Crump News. Especially because I did not monetize the stream tonight because I knew that I was going to get hit for, running someone else's content. So thank you. John Crump News with a $5 super chat. He says, if they wanted to take down the bridge, they should have let Rich fly a plane or planes over it. Woof. I think this may have been more effective. Although it doesn't look like it actually took it down, it just did lots of damage. But I agree. Rich would have been out in a parachute and then, plane. It wouldn't be the first time that one of Rich's planes hit the road, Jack. I'm filled with terrible jokes tonight. All right, moving along. Thank you again, Crumpy. Appreciate you, brother.
Describing Operation Spiderweb, the attack a couple days ago against Russian strategic aviation. So it makes you think that maybe there's a trend here and we're going to start seeing more of these unique one-off special operations targeting significant
or
Russian
the second
assets.
time. Correct. Yeah.
Next part here, carrying it out at 4:44 a.m. deliberately without any civilian casualties. That's an important piece here because unlike strategic bombers parked on a military airfield, this is civilian infrastructure. It's dual use. There's a lot of military usage to it, and there's a lot of symbolic messaging here as well when it comes to the Kerch Bridge. But there are day in and day out civilians traversing that bridge. And if Ukraine were to set off an explosive charge and kill civilians, that would lead the headlines, less than the actual damage to the bridge. So going at a time where there's limited to no civilians or any traffic on the bridge was clearly a smart move. And the last part here, the first explosive device was detonated. Excuse me? As in like others? More? You wouldn't say, if it was the only one, you wouldn't say the first, right? So we'll see. Maybe there's others planted around. That kind of gets in.
What was that?
Others? In the last part here, the first explosive device was detonated. Excuse me? As in like others? More?
Oh, okay.
Was...
I didn't catch that. Oh, snap. John Crump and The Range both sent super chats. Thank you so much, brother. I appreciate you. The Range with a $10 super chat who says, for a small jar of man bun gel, brother. Appreciate you, man. Thank you so much, dude. $10 super chat, man. Thank you. That means a lot. It will also go towards the ammo shipment I have coming in here, which I've been holding out. I was gonna pull the trigger last week, and I was like, you know what? Let me stack up a little more ammo in here, and then I'll pull the trigger on shipping. I'm using Ammo Squared. If anyone wants a link to Ammo Squared, hit me up offline, Instagram, email, whatever, and I can send you a link that gives you $25 worth of ammo and me $25 worth of ammo. So it's cool. Yeah, man. Thank you, brother. Appreciate you, man. All right, we'll pick it back up here. So yeah, so there's like multiple explosive devices that just haven't gone off yet, or what?
Is CNN there? What?
Was the only one. You wouldn't say the first, right? So we'll see. Maybe there's others planted around. That kind of gets into projecting what this might mean big picture. Now, according to Russian media, the traffic was on and then off. And right now it seems like, according to TASS, traffic has resumed across the Kerch Bridge. And the messaging from Russia was a little bit all over the place, to be expected. Right out the gate, we saw Russian accounts jumping in saying, it's fine, they missed. This was an unsuccessful attack. Don't worry about it. Like too early, like less than 5 minutes after the footage came out, people were saying, not a problem at all here, which when you look at the blast happening underwater against support structures of a bridge, there's no way you're fully assessing that damage without putting people underwater and doing a detailed investigation, which is probably underway right now, but that takes a long time. Nonetheless, Russia is confident enough at this point to resume traffic across the bridge. Another key aspect here I want to call out is when you look at the footage, this came from Russian security.
Oh, heck yeah, Kurt.
Ukraine released footage from Russian security cameras. So at the very least, it shows that in this instance, as they have in previous attacks, Ukraine has access to the video feeds of Russian security systems.
Hold up. You're telling me that Ukraine released this? Again, all political stuff about who you want to win, whatever. I don't care, right? Honestly, personally, I don't care much about any other country right now aside from the United States and its failing evil condition. Anyway, you're telling me that Ukraine posted video from Russian surveillance cameras of the explosion that they coordinated? Dude, that's crazy. Either you got insiders or you're finding creative ways to tap into all sorts of crazy stuff. This is like one of the few times where there's been like a complete like war-torn area that is just still filled with civilians, electricity, Wi-Fi, and just like whatever. You know what I mean? Like, now granted, there was still, even like in the GWAD and whatever, like there was still some activity, but not to the same degree that there is. That this is just so fascinating, being in a completely different under completely different types of conditions. This is crazy. Yeah. Anyway, sorry.
If not more, just something to keep back of mind. Now, turning to the Russian accounts of all of this, Rybar said, quote, at 5 a.m., another enemy attempt to attack the Crimean bridge occurred. But if earlier these launches were of UAVs, missiles, and unmanned aerial vehicles, this time the Ukrainian armed forces hit the facility with an underwater vehicle. The explosion occurred near one of the supports, but it was not damaged. The impact was on the protective barriers.
Oh, it was
Some
damaged.
of the debris was thrown onto the roadway. Traffic was temporarily blocked. And now it continues as usual. What happened was expected, so preparations for such a scenario have been underway.
Hey, Senor Bob, come in, stay a while.
Rows of boom barriers were erected near the bridge.
Good to see you, brother. Good to see you, man.
It was not in vain. Again, I think it's a little bit early to say definitively one way or the other.
Bob, we're actually talking about some really crazy stuff that's been going on. Crazy attacks. If you have time, man, you need to go back and watch the conversations that we've had so far. Crazy attacks of hidden. If you've heard about Operation Spider's Web, these fools hid dozens and dozens and dozens of drones inside shipping containers, remotely opened them. The drones flew out, destroyed Russian bombers, like crazy stuff, and then they attacked this bridge
More,
too, so
more Russian bombers went or are taken out of the fight than the U.S. has ever damaged.
yeah, pretty crazy, pretty crazy. But you're good, Fat Rooster brother. Thank you for coming in and hanging out. You have a good night as well. um G23 says, I've thought about dealing with him as squared, but still have reserves about not physically having the products I buy. So it depends. Like, if you just kind of want to sit on it and let it like sit there, it's like a savings account. So usually like once a month or so, I get everything delivered. So, you sit on it like once a week, they take out, like X amount of dollars. You put that towards like 25% for 9 mil, 25% for 5.56, 25, split it up whatever way you want. You can also do different like qualities of like 9 mil, 9 mil subsonic, 9 mil jacketed hollow point, 5.56, 77 grain OTMs, just range ammo. So you get to like set up what you want in advance. And then if like in the end you're like, oh, I got a bunch of 5.56, so I'm going to transfer all of this to 9mm, or kill it and get all my money back, or ask for it to be shipped, or have them hang on to it. It is kind of convenient to not have to like shop for ammo. So if you're like, hey, $20 a week or a month or whatever I want to put into ammo, then you just do that. It buys it for you auto magically. Or you could turn it off if you want to, take a break with it. It's for me, it's a little more convenient. So it's been kind of good, but I totally get it. I struggled with it a little bit at first too, because I'm like, well, what if the world completely falls to poo-poo while you have a bunch of money and my ammo and I don't have it yet, right? Like, I don't like that, but I think at this point I have enough kind of stocked up away where I would not be, if I survive longer than my ammo cache does, then I'm doing pretty dang well. So yeah, so just my 2 cents. It's been pretty good. Emma Squared has been around for a while. I haven't used them, but I think they've shown themselves to be pretty solid. Yeah, they're pretty good. I mean, I wouldn't like only do Ammo Squared. I would do other stuff to like, supplement the purchases with other stuff while you can when deals come up. Anyway, back to it. Sorry.
There might be long-term damage done to the bridge that's going to take weeks or even months to play out. I would not risk saying that no damage was done at this point. There's a little deeper dive Torsten Heinrich put together on this, getting into kind of the location of the charges and what explosive devices do underwater.
Barton Fink.
It's always worth checking out. But Rybar continued on here by saying, there is nothing to be happy about quite yet, especially against the backdrop of events in the Kherson and Zaporozhye regions. The
Sad thing is that's probably true.
Will be hot. And so there were drone strikes last night in a couple occupied territories, Kherson and Zaporozhye, that we'll get to in a minute. But real quick, wanted to give you an update on the fundraiser we're doing with Ukraine Aid Operations. We initially set a goal of 50,000, and due to your all generosity, which is incredible and humbling every single day, we blew past
Here, I'll
that.
skip this.
Before I could even release the interesting, I liked it. Or from the 3rd Assault Brigade.
Let me see. What's up, Dark Rich? Dark, did you get my email? I may have missed it. I think I responded to you, or oh no, I sent the first one from one of your old responses. Oh no, I did. You were saying that you didn't think it was a knife. I went back and watched it. I think you did win a knife. I'll double check it just to be sure. But do me a favor and just shoot me another email, and I'll make sure that we get you squared away. But good to see you as well. Thank you for the member chat. 24 months. It's a beautiful thing. Beautiful thing. Admin/admin. It's just a flesh wound. All right, I think we can end it at that. It's just, man, I think it's important for all of us to kind of review and study these things when these crazy things happen. I mean, how important is it to understand just these basic kind of sabotage style attacks that break? First off, they sabotage supply lines, they sabotage bombing capabilities, one of the legs of their nuclear triad. They drain them of money and take resources that they can never replicate ever, or at least likely never replicate ever. And just the morale and that is oof, that's bad. I mean, this is something that all of us can take notes from.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, as I said that, it's definitely noteworthy. Totally. Yeah, it's crazy, man. I mean, the amount of creativity to go into something like that, and to not even have to like get past any security, I mean, that's crazy. Like, that's crazy. Next level stuff, man. Um Funny voice to chat got Jart spelled right, but put one instead of one. You won a Jart. Yeah, it's funny. Sometimes if you type something enough, it's like, I know what you're talking about. Um, it takes a lot longer to fix or replace a bridge in comparison to a regular road. Absolutely. Do you
Mhm.
think these countries that are currently at war, like conscripting every adult that they can, draining resources, money, and food? I mean, dude, Putin basically said, like, I will drive this war until all of my people starve to death. Like, they don't care, right? Do you think they're going to take a break and get dozens of civil engineers to rebuild bridges like today? No. Not only are they probably not going to, they probably literally can't. You know, we're about to wrap up. Billy Wayne Norwood, but thank you for jumping in and hanging out. Um, we've already been going for over 2 hours, and we've kind of hit all these topics. And I can also tell when Rich is starting to fade as well. So,
Oh yeah. No, I got a morning meeting I got to go to.
gotcha. Well, let's go ahead and wrap up. Any final notes you want to touch on before we
Shotgun.
get out of here?
Just like Joe Biden says, buy a shotgun.
But also, there's a downside for letting that thing off and taking drones out of the sky if they now know your location. So. Guys, man, I appreciate everyone coming in and hanging out. This has been kind of a crazy, exciting thing to go over. I do want to say, because we did tonight, we usually don't. We did tonight use someone else's footage. So go over since we did review. Hold on, Preston Stewart's content. If you enjoyed his content, go give him a subscribe, like, follow, and all that stuff, because it was good to to review his footage. And look, he put a lot of time and energy into that video. So if in your mind that earns a subscription, I'd encourage you to do so and show him some love. So hopefully he can not hit us with a copyright strike by saying nice things and saying go subscribe. Also, in the end, guys, remember, we got to support the people that support us. So companies like Gideon Optics, companies like Goonbeam, DLD Hardware, Definition Knives, Stifler Manufacturing, all the homies you guys know. Man, things are getting crazy with products coming from China. So, we got to make sure we keep companies like Goonbeam and Definition Knives. Now, I'm not just saying that because it's us, right? Keep them alive, because it's the struggle is real. Yeah, Sport Brand, thank you. You said this in much more of an appropriate way. It says Billy Wayne Norwood. It's not an open panel at the moment, but thanks for being here. Have a good night as well. Thank you, Sport Brand. You said that in a much better way than I did. My apologies. But I appreciate the people come in and want to engage with the stream. So I'm sure that would have gone well. Drone warfare is going to make shotguns a necessity again. I do think everyone should have a shotgun for sure. So, look, I hope all of you guys got some type of value from reviewing all this tonight. I think wargaming is super important. And I think, we've said before, like your body will never go to a place that your mind has not gone. So doing these kind of the wargaming exercises and reading and studying into what other like actual conflicts like going on around us, what these guys are doing, I think is super important. So make sure you go follow Flying Rich Firearms, and also just go to flyingrich.com. You'll see all of his content, and his shorts are killing it. He's getting like a bajillion views there. Yeah, let me know if you guys would be interested in the catted by your boy DLD, this beautiful cross that actually says on the back here, all things through him. Isn't that cool? Dude, it's so cool. And this is the black and red with the weathered brass. Yeah, so I'm probably gonna do some other colors and stuff like that. Let me know if you guys would be interested in something like that. I'll be putting more stuff on DLD hardware. But yeah, check it out. Thank you all so much. Remember, guys, get right with your family, get right with God. If you don't have a relationship with Jesus Christ, access to heaven is the path is narrow and exclusive. So remember that. And we are living in crazy times. We're still in the middle of a culture war, regardless of what you think about who's in power or whatever. So it's important that you become a culture warrior. All right, we have to fight against it, and we need to normalize the things that we do and that we use: firearms, freedom, liberty, independence. Like that's what this is about, right? And do so in a kind way. And being a better person, a better leader, a better spiritual leader, holding yourself to higher standards and expectations, and having rules. And some of the rules that I like to share with you guys at the end of every single show is rule number 1 is to be kind. It's so important that we're kind in everything else that we do. That brief interaction that you have with somebody else could have a massive impact on their life. So be kind. Rule number 2 is to live a life of care, compassion, contribution, give to others. When you bless others, you become blessed, because the hand that's open to give is open to receive. And rule number 3, because we know the only way for us to defeat evil is with good men skilled in violence, make sure that you're becoming as highly skilled in violence as you possibly can be, and be safe, be dangerous, and keep that thing on you. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, keep your top knot tight, and I'll holler at you guys on the next one. Man Bun City. We need to do a man bun shirt. I never would have imagined in a million years that one day I'd be rocking a man bun. It's just easy, and I get to take my daughter's hair ties. Love y'all. Bye. Real quick, I'm probably going to be doing the next show on Thursday. Well, I'm going to be following the schedule of Tuesdays and Thursdays on YouTube, Saturdays on Rumble. So keep that in mind. All right. Saturdays on Rumble, they're crazy. Love y'all. Bye. I see you, Mr. BS. Great to see you. And anyone else that was just lurking in the back, I love you too. And yes, Rich fell for the 0 money down driveway payment plan. Love y'all. Bye.